massive human trafficking. It's a record 288 people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
Given your criticism of Governor Gavin Newsom, are you willing to work with him, and do you believe that federal aid should be provided to California for as long as it takes?
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, you know where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him when he was governor. We worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem because you're talking about big, big dollars.
To the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt and reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to the...
He's a liar. Gavin Newsom is malicious and he's a liar. Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. I'm sorry, that just had to fly out of my mouth that he's a liar. Isn't it amazing? He's sitting there and what I've also noticed about, I'm not a big viewer of Gavin Newsom. Usually I can only take about 2 seconds of looking at his beautifully shaped white teeth and hair, and I think he should be applauded because he's extremely handsome, but he is a disgusting human being. Every time I see him now, there's a lot of hand movements, a lot of trying to, it's almost as if he's a magician, and you need to watch my hands, watch my hands, watch my hands. Don't look at my beautiful face and the words coming out because you're going to ask me questions. So look at my hands. Let me confuse you. When you listen to what he says, a bunch of gobbledygook. Well, Donald Trump's the problem. Donald Trump insults us. Donald Trump doesn't like his enemies. Yeah, right. He shouldn't. He represents us. We hate you. So we want him to destroy you. That's why you hate Trump, because Trump represents us. Finally, someone on NBC has a set of brass balls and actually says the truth and questions back as he says, well, of course, our reservoirs are completely full, and that's a lie about the Delta smelt. Has no effect on the Delta smelt. I'll get back to that in a second. And the guy goes, well, but what about the reservoir that you emptied that services Palisades? Oh. Then he's like, well, that prompted me to get an investigation. How about we investigate you? How about you're the problem? The delta smelt I saw is so you understand what a delta smelt is. Delta smelt is like a sardine. Looks like a sardine. Maybe a little bigger, but it looks like a sardine. And they're dumping water, millions of gallons of water, dumping it in the ocean to save this delta smelt. The problem is the Fish and Wildlife authorities haven't seen a delta smelt in years. Oh yeah, there's the picture of the delta smelt. Look at Logan is on top of it. I want you to understand, and this is not hyperbole, billions of dollars, thousands of homes. Now I think it's 25 people have died in one fire to save that. To save that. To save the delta smelt. I talked about this on the vault this morning, and I'm going to repeat it again. You may chuckle and say, well, those stupid Californians, those morons, and you are correct, those morons. However, everything that happens in California finds its way into the interior of America. Look, you're talking to a guy that was born in Massachusetts, but I grew up in the Deep South, Louisiana, outside New Orleans, Alabama, went to college in Arkansas. So I remember looking at California, wanting to go there, but looking at them going, and this was in the 70s and 80s, in the early 90s. Those people are insane. They do some of the dumbest, stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. That will never happen here. Then I go live there for 25 years, fell in love with it for the first 15 years. I saw it change drastically in the last 10 years of my time there. So I lived it. I was outside of it, saw the insanity, said it'll never happen, went inside, lived inside of it, and I watched everything that we did in California slip down that slippery slope into America. All the perverse pornography, all the LGBTQ craziness, all of the political nonsense, the environmentalist crazies, everything. It's all over America. So don't laugh about the delta smelt. You can finally, if you look around, you'll find something that your little town, city, or state are doing that is equally as stupid as that. One thing that Donald Trump has really showed us is stop being afraid to just say what you need to say. Confront the people you need to confront. Now, this woman is from the Palisades, so I am going to almost guarantee she is a leftist, a hardcore leftist that just swallowed a gigantic red pill. Gigantic red pill. She doesn't know it yet. She's going to wake up a hardline MAGA conservative here the next day or two. Listen to her anger, her frustration, and her pleas to Governor Newsom. And this is maybe the way we all need to be talking to all of our representatives every time they step out the door of their mansions.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
to fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
I love it when the left eats each other. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, I'll take the left. They can come over and switch sides once they apologize to us, once they make a confession that they have been mentally ill. Do you know how many people that are great conservatives now that were far, far leftists, like far leftists, that come over to us and they're almost like the people that were atheists, converted to Christianity, and they know the Bible better than people born into Christianity. Why? Because they made that conscious decision as an adult, saw how bad they were, learned, and realized, oh man, God is real. Jesus was the Son of God. I'm a Christian. And then they are all in. Because why? Because they have been on the other side. That's like illegal aliens that come here legally. Legal immigrants, let me rephrase that, come here legally from communist socialist nations. And they come here and they are the best, most educated people about our republic. Founding documents. Why? Because they were on the other side. They saw the world, they lived in the world that is polar opposite than America. Same thing with leftists. You have been living in an alternative universe that we like to call the insane asylum. Now you've come to reality and you've looked at everything that you loved is poison. Everything and everybody that you call deplorable names, vile names, put us in baskets, you're awakened to the fact that we've been right the whole time. Not right about everything, but about almost everything. And you come to our side, and you are some of the greatest conservatives versus the people that kind of just born into being Republicans, and we kind of just go middle of the road sometimes. Not you guys. Thomas Sowell pops up in my mind when I think of incredible geniuses of our times. Modern genius, Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell was a radical leftist. Radical, believed in socialism, radical. Thomas Sowell is considered to be one of the modern day geniuses now of the conservative movement, or in anything, just a genius in his own right, but in the conservative movement. A black American radical leftist. And you know what he did? He came and apologized. He wrote and discussed about all of his ills and sins as a leftist. I would stand side by side with Thomas Sowell and his beliefs any single day. Then I would stand behind someone like Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell. Or if you can go back just for a second, Logan, can you pull up the picture, just a still picture of Donald Trump speaking? Yeah. I would stand with Thomas Sowell before I stood side by side with any of those senators. That guy, look at this guy on the right of Donald Trump's shoulder. John Barrasso from Wyoming. I don't think this man blinked for the whole 2-minute video staring right in the back of Donald Trump's neck. It's weird. If we're going to be honest, when you look at these politicians, people that are in positions of ultimate authority, politicians, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, anybody that's in the higher echelon of Apple or Google, they are some weird cats, man. They are some weird dudes all the way around, non-blinking, almost look like aliens, weird. John, Senator from Wyoming, you are in that category, my friend. You are a weird cat. I don't know how Donald Trump even spoke. My spidey senses would be all over. That guy's born a hole right in the back of his head. They are all strange. When we stop for a second and can look at what's happened to our country, to understand who's running it, it all makes sense when you just look at these people. Just look at them and then listen to what they say. Now, I'm listening to that woman that just challenged Newsom. And you know the first thing I thought? She's running around with a mask on. I know. I'm not saying the mask is bad because there was all kinds of fire. If you've ever been near around a giant fire, forest fire or something, it is brutal, the air quality. But I thought when I was watching that, and I'm watching this destruction happen, and Gavin Newsom's playing the game of I don't have cell service, and he doesn't really have cell service. He just got caught in a lie saying he's speaking to the president now, and then he went into, well, I don't have cell service. And he's right. There's no cell service. There's nothing in that area. And then I'm sure all around LA County you have outages all over. Are you going to tell me that woman doesn't need a sat phone? I'm asking you, America, do you think that you do not need a sat phone in the world today? You think you're immune to this type of disaster, be it natural disaster or man-made or both? I can't plug this enough. Every time that I see this, I'm so glad that I have a sponsor, Sat Phone, Sat123, and that they're giving me Sat phones for my family. And I have a monthly subscription that I pay for. It's worth it. Absolutely worth it. I know that my wife has hers and I have mine. I'll be getting one for my son for a monthly charge so that I have connectability to my family. Absolutely. Absolutely worth it. Go to sat123.com/JJ. Can we go to, I want you to listen to Rick Caruso. He is a gentleman. He's a billionaire real estate developer. That's what I call him, a real estate developer. He ran for mayor and lost to Karen Bass. And everything he has said prior is now. Did he run for maybe governor? Maybe it was governor. And he's talking about a city with no water. Now, I want you to understand this video is maybe 2-3 days old. However, the fire is 100% not contained right now and is spreading across LA. People are setting fires. No water. But now we know why there's no water, because they drained the reservoir at Pacific Palisades. But I wanted to show this video again, or if you haven't seen it, because I want you to see what it looks like when you have bad leadership.
My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods, so it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest. We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do. And it looks like we're in a third world country here. And we've got a lot of tough questions that we need to ask the mayor and the city council and our representatives and the county representatives. Why didn't you work to mitigate this? What was your brush mitigation program? I heard you earlier talking about it's been dry because there hasn't been rain. That's not the biggest problem here. The brush up in these hills that are controlled by the city and the county, I would bet you that if they haven't been handled, mitigated, pruned, removed for probably 30 or 40 years. This was a disaster waiting to happen. And what's predictable is preventable. And who's paying the price are all of these people in their homes and their businesses tonight. Now, we'll rebuild, but the majority of this community is going to have a tough time rebuilding their lives.
Rick Caruso, he was running for mayor. And he's absolutely 100% correct. What is predictable is preventable. What happens in California happens in America. Let me repeat that just so I make very, very clear. What happens in California doesn't matter social, economic, environmentalist, political, law enforcement wise. What happens there is a trendsetter movement that goes across and sweeps across America. It just does. Because they have access to your homes, and to your children, and to your wives and husbands. But I want you to understand that once all this dust settles, the dust settles, the left is not going to just give away. They're not going to give away all their power. They're not. Just like you're seeing with Biden and the federal political machine. The left, especially in California, are not going to just give it away. They're going to turn it into something that it's not. And I'm going to show you this next video to explain to you how they've turned it into something it's not. It's get ready. It's going to happen. Karen Bass is a black woman. That has no bearing on anything in my mind. I don't care if she was the straightest, whitest man we've ever seen. Let's do this. You want to talk about this, I don't know, straight, but a white man that is weird, that is a liar. Shift. Adam Pencil Neck Shift. Let's put Adam Pencil Neck Shift into the mayor's position. I would still be saying the same thing. However, because Karen Bass is a black woman, I believe she's an LGBTQ pie divided by starships, but I can't be certain about that, but I believe she is. So she checks 3 boxes at least. They're going to turn this into a race thing, whereas we're picking on Miss Bass, not because she's grossly unqualified or she's grossly incompetent or she has no ability to lead, she has no intellect. None of those things. You're just angry about Karen Bass because she is black. Let's play this, Logan.
Let me tell you something. She's got a spine of steel. Yes. And she's also been a black woman in America a very long time. So none of this is new to her. We're mad because we're tired of it. We're tired for her. We're mad for her. And we're going to stand. Listen, I don't know how you here, but I'm happy you're here. Because somebody needs to say.
To stand behind her and support her. because how she handling it, you can see it in her face. She stays calm. But think about this. She has the city to take care of. She does not have time to hear from these reporters asking these questions.
And she is also not mayor of every municipality in California.
Yes.
There are people that are mad that she didn't fix the fires in Malibu. She's not the mayor of Malibu.
You're right.
What is she supposed to do in a city she's not the mayor of?
People don't understand.
And let me say this too. I could imagine how much it would hurt to see this happening in the city that she loves. That's first. So take away how it feels for people to attack her. She's heartbroken because this is happening in her city, a city that she loves.
And the people don't understand. They don't understand how large it is, because a lot of people are sitting in other parts of the city. They're not in it. They're not in the fire. They're not in the smoke. They don't see. They're not there. They're watching TV. Why? And they want to blame someone. This is not the time to blame. It's time to get some resources. She has reached out far. We have planes coming in from other countries to help us. This is not the time. I need everybody to remain calm,
they need to leave her alone and let her do her work. Just let her do her work.
The leadership.
Support
Karen Bass. That's all I can say. You cannot. This is not the time.
It's time.
Oh, y'all done got me upset.
She's had a great response so far to the fires.
Absolutely.
A great. She has done what she's had to do. She's jumped in there, and she's got.
We got fires every year, and I don't remember in the 30 years almost that I've lived in LA, I've never seen everybody react like this to the mayor and blame one person for a natural disaster.
Yes.
I've never seen it. Now, what's different this time? Interesting, isn't it?
You said that. Amen, sister.
Amen, sister. Amen. Those are two, just to make very clear, those are two actresses from the Hollywood area. Amen. What's the difference? Well, I'll tell you the difference is entire city is burnt to the ground. Billions with a B. And let me just say, none of those homes are going to be rebuilt. Not going to happen. I'll go ahead and make the prediction now. Coastal Commission, all those homes are on the coastal side. It takes you, if you want to change your home, it's already existing structure and you want to make changes, years. Like you just want to add like an 8x10 room, years. Thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Now you have thousands, I think it's up to 10,000 homes are going to need to pull permits. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And maybe that was the plan. I hate to sound conspiratorial, but it's hard to sound or to remain non-conspiratorial when you listen to people like Gavin Newsom openly admit to what they're going to do or had been planning to do prior to this fire.
Over the course of the next several years, Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup and then the Super Bowl and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative moving quickly, doing in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine. The opportunity with all of that and all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those three iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts, and how we can galvanize the community with folks that love this community to really develop a mindset so that at scale we're dealing with the scope of this tragedy and responding to it at scale with efficiency, like the executive order I talked about, time value of delivering projects, addressing building codes, addressing permitting issues, and moving forward to rebuilding and being more resilient.
That guy is good. I'm just going to tell you, that guy is good. He is everything that you should run from. Everything. But he is good. Those hand motions, the pounding his fish and the look at my hand here, and don't worry about the building that's burning behind me, and look at my hands, look at my teeth, my hair is still good. Did you hear what he said? They have a Marshall Plan. We're going to permit. We're going to get those builders building. What are they going to build? Who's going to rebuild it? You had a plan prior to the fire? I will guarantee you, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, all that is going to be redone, and you leftists are going to lose your mind because your enclave is gone. You're going to have mixed use, Section 8. I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to fast forward 5 to 10 years from now. You're going to be rebuilding your house, still trying to rebuild your house, but a giant Section 8 apartment complex will already be built. You'll have some great Mexican burrito shops scattered around. You'll have lowriders going through. Homeless encampments will be built. Everything is going to be built and up and running. Little shanty towns, everything except your house. I can't wait. You leftist scumbag. You deserve everything you get. I can't wait. Cannot wait. And I'll make one more point on this, Gavin Newsom. I'm tired, and Donald Trump has made this point. We are tired of spending our federal funds on you, California. We're tired of it. So we're going to send you money, our federal money, to help you again because of your failures again to rebuild California. At the same time that you're taking our billions, you are siphoning out $2.6 billion just for people that are here illegally from 26 to 49. Not from 0 to 25 or from 50 to 90. We didn't count them in there. So you're looking at a total health care cost of approximately $7.5 to $10 billion because people from 26 to 49 don't normally get sick. Babies and elderly, oh yeah, it gets expensive. So let's double, triple that number. So you're easily at $7 to $10 billion annually. And you want me to give my money here in Kansas to you? No. And when you begin to speak and talk about monetary issues, you better make sure that you and your family are diversified. Swiss America Precious Metals. Go to Wes Peters, call him, text him. He will send you information. But if you think that Gavin Newsom's an anomaly, Gavin Newsom is the rule in federal government. He is exactly who is running our government. People that are narcissistic, self-absorbed, only looking out for their best intentions. That is what's running America. And people that are grotesquely corrupt. All of them. All, A-L-L, all of them. You do not go into Washington, D.C. broke or living on the fringes financially and come out still living on the fringes financially. You come out not whole. You come out as a millionaire. A millionaire times 10, times 100, but you come out beautifully. So you better diversify. They are spending money. We sent another $500 million, I think, 500 million, another $500 million to Ukraine. As Zelensky's saying, we're going to get out of this war. We're getting out of it. Okay, hold on. Don't get out too quick. I'm going to send you another $500 million. Did they cut that money from somewhere? From the budget? They stopped payment on a sports stadium they're building in Washington, D.C.? No, they printed it. They printed $500 million and gave it to a foreign nation. Your money, your dollar just devalued even more. Go to precious metals, Swiss America Precious Metals. We live in the most vile time in human history. And it's vile because of the number of people that are being abused. We've had other times in history where the corruption is so big, but it's mainly confined to a smaller group of people. We're talking over 300 million people being abused right now in America, financially, socially, politically, economically, religiously, health-wise. Donald Trump comes in office in 1 week. 1 week. Amazing things are going to begin to happen. But the same people running the government, the lieutenants, the managers, they're still entrenched in the government by the thousands, tens of thousands. This disaster will not end on January 20th at noon when Donald Trump takes his hand off the Bible. No. One thing that has to happen is every single one of those January 6ers have to be pardoned immediately. The moment they takes his hand off the Bible, everything in that pardon the wheels need to be turning, meaning those wardens need to be letting those people out. The jail cells, the doors need to be coming open, hearing that clank. Here's your clothes, change, you are out of here. And I mean all of them. J.D. Vance started in, and we'll talk about that in a minute, where he said, well, if they were nonviolent. However, there was a poison tree in the middle of this event. What was a poison tree? It was the federal government had their officers and agents inside the rallies, and they created a situation that furthered crime. They did. They created the first domino, knocked over the first 2 or 3 dominoes to create a violent criminal environment. So you can't prosecute because those men and women were entrapped. They were entrapped in an ongoing criminal event created by the federal government. Therefore, everyone's innocent. Get them out. Get them out. Every last one of them. One of those people that need to come out is Colton Maccabee. He was a former sheriff in Tennessee. That was at January 6th. And he got arrested for helping a police officer. And he is spending 70 months in prison since August of 2021. And he still has another 34-ish months left. And we interviewed his wife, Sarah Maccabee. And this is not a wallflower. This is not someone that is, oh, poor me and my family, someone help us. No. Sarah is, get out of my way. I'll do the work. I'll do the job. I'll create a nonprofit. I'll create a nonprofit to help all the families to be able to go and fly and see their loved ones for an hour and then fly home. I'll be the one that go and testify in front of Congress. I'll be the one that challenges everything that's going on. I'll be the one that goes and speaks to hundreds, if not thousands, of podcast interviews across the nation and in mainstream media. I'll be the one. That's who I interviewed. And this is going to be on the vault on Thursday. We're in the vault on Thursday. The whole, I think it's, maybe Logan can tell me in my ear, I think it was about 2.5 hours long. A highly intelligent, extremely articulate, faithful, and beautiful woman is the true face of everything that's wrong with January 6th. Everything. And she is unafraid. Oh my gosh, she's unafraid. But we sat down and just didn't talk about January 6th. We didn't talk about, we talked about the nuts and bolts in a way. But the story's bigger than the nuts and bolts. I wanted to know about her. I want to know about her husband, because you have to put a name and a face and live to these people that are rotting in prison, because these lives have been destroyed for political gain. They were, unfortunately, as she and I talked about, they were just pawns on a board game for the elites to use. Here's a few minutes of that conversation with Sarah.
And so when it came time for January 6th, just going into what that looked like, Colton was a law enforcement officer in Williamson County, Tennessee. And so he was working. Technically, he should have been at work that day. And on December 27th of 2020, he was in a car accident. He was on his way home from working overnight, and he fell asleep about 5 miles from our home. It wrecked his truck, totaled it completely, rolled it 12 times, and he walked out of it, and that was the only reason he could go to January 6th. He went with a friend at the time, and we can get into that because that's a very interesting part of our story that we haven't really ever talked about. But so it was like, if that car accident never happened, because one of the things he has always asked himself and the Lord is, so you saved me from this car accident that I absolutely should have passed away from, only to end up in jail. Like, that's where you have to believe that this is bigger than us, right? So he goes on January 6th with a friend, and at that point our lives had completely changed for everything that we know, from the time of family and friends walking away from us, and just, you kind of think when you're young, you're invincible, right? And you see this stuff happen to other people, but it's never going to happen to you until it does.
Want to see the whole 2 hours and 40-something minutes of that interview, go to the vault, go to worldviewtube.com/JJ. I have a daily take in the vault, and this will be our third interview, long-form interview in the vault. It's a fascinating look into behind the scenes of January 6th, both the political side behind the scenes and from the perspective of a January 6th wife and family. And it's an inside look at what it means to be imprisoned and what happens to your family, how the complete devastation, and then coming out, if Colton is released or pardoned, or when he's released in 34 more months, what is life going to look like? Things that you don't even wrap your brain, you can't even think about, like Sarah they built a home. They sold the home in order to pay for lawyer fees and life. So when this man comes out, he's not like he's going to go back to his bedroom that he knows and has been dreaming about. He's going to go back to another residence that he has no idea about. And his life has been changed because he's been institutionalized for years, unfairly. Powerful. And that's what I want to bring to the vault. I want to bring not only my daily takes, but more importantly, I want to bring in long-form interviews with people that I find, that I believe you will find absolutely fascinating, that are intriguing, have powerful stories, and they'll make you think when you're listening to these people talk about their lives and what they experienced, about the government, about spirituality, about God. I want them to be thought-provoking. And I believe the first three we have another one we'll be bringing out, and it was a very long interview with Ann Vandersteel that will absolutely make you stop and think. Go to the vault. And I'm going to bring up J.D. Vance. Can you play this video for me real quick before I talk on him?
January 6th pardons, President Trump says there's a process. Where is the line drawn on who will and wouldn't be considered for pardon?
I think it's very simple. Look, if you protested peacefully on January the 6th and you've had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. And there's a little bit of a gray area there, but we're very much committed to seeing the equal administration of law. And there are a lot of people, we think, in the wake of January the 6th who were prosecuted unfairly. We need to rectify that.
I will agree to that there were Antifa members inside there. If that's what he's talking about, Antifa and the disruptors, intentional disruptors, yeah, they sit in jail and rot. Everyone else, and I mean everyone else, needs to be walking. Every one of them. And then I will add that the DOJ needs to turn its lens, the whole body of the DOJ, onto the people that lied about it. And I want them arrested. Every single one of them arrested. As I'm going through the cold season, my immune system sucks. It does. 3 doses of remdesivir, one dose should have killed me at 50%. The COVID that I got twice from people that I arrested that were sitting in my cells got me sick as a dog. So I take something that helps my immune system, and that is petclub247.com, petclub247.com. You go to truthwithjj247.com. It is from a mushroom found in Japan. They put it into a capsule form. And I take it, and it has absolutely increased my immunity. Absolutely. Not even, I wonder if it's working. Nope. I have it right on my desk, not to show you, but it reminds me before I go on air, I take my capsules, my 2 or 3 capsules that I put. I have it for my dog too. It's put in her treats, her Mojo treats. It's for pets and humans. Why? Because it's all natural. Go to Pet Club 24/7 or truthwithjj247.com. I use all these products. I do not promote anything I do not use. In fact, I'll tell you, the other product I use constantly, and they're all over my house, is My Pillow. My Pillow slippers, My Pillow bed sheets, My Pillow towels, and of course, My Pillow pillows. Mike Lindell. Incredible story about Mike Lindell. From a drug addict to a multimillionaire business owner. Incredible story, actually. Incredible patriot. Use promo code JJ. Go to mypillow.com. Not only is the product amazing, that's enough to have you go purchase it. But it's not just the product. It's the fact that Americans are making it. I'm so tired of the lie that everyone else in the world makes stuff better than us. And yet everyone in the world wants to come to America. Why? Shouldn't we all be running to all these nations? Shouldn't we? Doesn't that make sense? That's logical, right? Out of the 100,000 plus people that I arrested, directly and indirectly, in the Border Patrol, and sitting on the border for decades, do you know what I never saw? I never saw one person, more or less hordes of humanity, running south, jumping the border fence and running into Mexico. Never saw it. Just never saw it. Now, I saw thousands upon thousands of people jumping the border fence and running north. Absolutely. Running north to the most racist, xenophobic, patriarchic society in mankind. Oh, yeah. That's what they did. That's what you normally do when you want to escape your hellscape. You like to run into the most oppressive, racist country that you can find, right? After you crossed 6, 7, 10 different nations to get to us. The idea that we are a racist nation is disgusting. The idea that everyone makes better stuff than us is insulting. America is great because of Americans, not because of our politicians, not because of our businessmen, because of Americans. America, unfortunately, is not the greatest nation on planet Earth right now. It's just not, if we're going to be honest. And we are going to be honest on this show. I don't care if it makes you turn me off and go watch Sean Hannity or whoever's on right now. That's fine. Go ahead, do it. I like Sean Hannity. But I'm not going to tell you half-truths, or I'm not going to give you a bunch of rah-rah crap either. I'm just going to tell you straight up that America is the number one producer of pornography in the world. America is the number one consumer of child pornography, number one consumer of hard narcotics, one of the top nations that physically pays to rape children. We live in a sexually perverse society. Over 50% of Americans do not believe in God. Our economy is in shambles. We are $35 trillion in debt, $210 trillion when you count up all the unfunded and unpaid liabilities. We are a disaster waiting to happen. Thus, we are not the shiny city on the hill. We're not. Can we get back there? Absolutely, we're America. But to sit here and say we are the Kansas City Chiefs of the NFL, world champions, year over year, when we play football like the Indianapolis Colts. Can't. You just can't say you're the best, and you're not. We have a lot to change. I'm hoping the change begins on day one in 7 days. I pray that that's what's happening. I pray that there's awakening, both awakening to the corruption and a spiritual awakening, because this cesspool that we find ourselves in we will not come out of it without God's help. That is the truth. That's something I have to remind myself daily. But what I want to have happen is I want to go full court press on everything. And we'll start with Pam Bondi, who will be the next Attorney General. And she is tenacious. And I am praying to God that she comes out, which I don't think she has any other way. You know how you are some way? Like I'm just the way I am. I'm not going to change. I don't want to change. I don't want to become something else. I'm okay with who I am. Do I want to get better? Yes, I need to, absolutely. I want to be less sinful, man. I want to be a better father, better husband. I want to get better. But I am who I am, and I know that I'm not going to be able to change. Be able to change a few things, like get better, but I am who I am. This is how God built me. This is how God built this woman, Pam Bondi. I don't think she knows any other way except full steam ahead. Let's watch her. This is a quick video, but this gives you a sense of who she is, and I thank God that she's on our side.
When Republicans take back the White House, you know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated, because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated.
There you go. I'll repeat what the two actresses in Hollywood said. Amen, sister. Especially with that cross on your neck. You go. Let them see that cross. You'll see them flinch. because the devil's inside them, then you'll know, okay, I need to go after that person too. Here's someone else that has been selected by Donald Trump. His name is Stephen Miller from Malibu. He was castigated even all the way back into high school when he was railing against illegal immigration. Listen to what he's going to say. I love it. He's measured. He doesn't get upset. He just tells you what I'm going to do, what Donald Trump is going to do. No threats, just this is what's going to happen. Buckle up.
We're putting in motion a set of executive orders on day one for President Trump. They'll represent the most comprehensive border security plan in American history. Nothing like this has ever been done before. It is the most robust, sweeping, far-reaching set of executive actions and authorities necessitated by this national emergency that anyone has ever contemplated. And when that is put into place, it will, once and for all, restore American sovereignty, and will also restore the idea that the Defense Department has a fundamental role, has a core role in securing the homeland from foreign invasion.
Love that guy. What also needs to happen at breakneck speed is Donald Trump has to systematically tear down complete agencies and departments. One of them has to be the Department of Education. Department of Education is one of the main organs of the left. That is what they use to indoctrinate, to use propaganda, to destroy our children. They do. We are looking at a generation or two from the full effects, the full grasp of the Department of Education. Why would we as Americans continue to fund a department that hates America, that teaches the children they're responsible for to hate America and become anti-Americans? They need to be closed. How do you do it? Not only do you strip everything away, but you start giving incentives to private education and homeschool. Watch this video of this young lady.
Trump is a pure genius. Watch this.
So to support the growing homeschool movement, in my next term, I will immediately fight to allow homeschool parents the same incredible benefit, $10,000 a year per child, completely tax-free to spend on costs associated with homeschool education. I will also work to ensure that every homeschool family is entitled to full access to the benefits available to non-homeschool students, including participating in athletic programs, clubs, after-school activities, educational trips, and more. To every homeschool family, I will be your champion.
It's so amazing to finally have our president back that actually cares about homeschool.
It's brilliant. You incentivize people to turn away from evil. Ultimately, what has to happen is all the senators, all of those crazy loons in politics, the Senate has to confirm as fast as they can every one of Donald Trump's picks. They have to. This waiting, John Thune, he better have all the ducks in a row. Everyone. We need to conduct our business like the Democrats conduct theirs. They go and they whip their party into shape and they say, this is what we're going to do. Now do it. I had Roger Marshall from Kansas, who's my senator. I had him on the next clip. I'm running out of time. But he is saying that they have the votes to confirm every pick in Donald Trump's cabinet, every pick that is going to change America. The left are frightened. The left need to be, and they are frightened, rightfully so, because the people that Donald Trump has selected to be in positions of power, I call him his lieutenants. They are sitting there like rabid dogs, waiting for the door to be open so they can chase whatever is outside. I always tell America, buckle up. Hey, you leftists, you better buckle up. This is going to be a hard road.
Hello, this is Brooke Witcher with Code Blue, and we are just so excited today to have our friend